you said something that was deep in your heart, and you did it. You changed up for financial reasons,
No,
really.
absolutely,
You know what I'm
absolutely,
saying, Brad?
absolutely.
He did it for that financial reason. And I haven't read a lot on it, but I did. I knew this, but I read up on it. I can't remember the player, but he said, I have circled my calendar for the New Orleans Saints game. You know what that means. That's a defensive player. He's coming to get you, bro. He don't care what your apology is about. He's coming to get you because you're not standing beside them, the brothers in their cars. I'm
Well,
sorry.
here's the thing I believe, though. I truly believe this, that it doesn't make any difference. Breeze cannot walk in a black man's shoes.
No.
So everything he's saying and what he meant, he meant that. He had said
Yeah.
that he
Yeah.
had said that years before. So just stay with that. Don't,
Yeah.
don't try to come. Don't try to come because the sponsors are going. Your guys at NBC or whoever you're about to sign this big TV deal with are saying, "What the hell?" And we love this, Bob. When your agent calls you and going, "What the hell did you damn say?"
Yeah.
You better get on the damn phone right now.
Yeah.
But Brad,
Yeah.
you gotta listen. If he wasn't involved in a team sport, and I think just the fact that he's a little tone deaf of everything that has went on, and like LeBron has even said in his tweet, is that he really didn't understand what Cap was taking a knee for. If you weren't tone deaf and you were a single person, you could make that comment. But you know what? The NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball, that's like a fraternity, and it's very few people that can ever get into that fraternity. So until before you make statements that your ass can't cover, you got to understand what's going on around you, because again, like Max said, somebody done circled the calendar for the New Orleans Saints. Well, you can best believe if he offended anybody on that offensive line, they're going to let that guy run right through there and knock his block off.
Absolutely.
That's
And
what he has to understand. I kind of accept his apology, but I'm like you guys too. Them sponsors was like, man, listen, you better get back on here and tighten this up, man. You have to.
And you know what, Brad, I thought I heard you say the other day, you said your father was in the Vietnam War.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
My father was in World War II. What Drew Brees, what these people are not even covering on TV is how our fathers were treated when they came back from the war. Drew Brees, don't you sit there and talk about I'm from a military family. Hell, me and Brad are from a military family. They served and they treated them like dirt, spitting on them, especially Brad's people coming from the Vietnam War. They were spitting on them, calling them baby killers and stuff. And my father, they didn't even want them to have rifles and stuff. And they come back here in the Ku Klux Klan and these racist policemen. I remember my father in the middle of the night one time got pulled out of the bed out of our house. The policemen were talking about they were looking for somebody in the community. They took him down to the station and they said the guy was 6'1". Guess what? Papa McAdoo is 6'6". They saw his tall ass walking there, and they turned right around and said, "Get him out of there." They woke him up in the middle of the night. The policeman. I remember this when I was in high school, man. I mean, this stuff has not stopped. Drew Brees, he from the Revolutionary War, Civil War, World War I, World War II, Vietnam, Korean War. These black soldiers. Come on, man. Look how these guys were treated when they came back.
And see, the thing about it is he think his parents or his background people were the only ones that served. I got an uncle that served in Vietnam. So,
yeah.
That was just a callous statement that he made. I do. And again, it's kind of tough to accept his apology, but at least he came out and he did apologize.
Yeah.
Dude, it just feels like the wrong reasons. Now, two things happened. My father, Manny Maxwell, is 94 years old right now. Got wounded in Vietnam, still has shrapnel in his body from that particular time. This is what Brees will never understand. He'll never understand this. And you and I, as athletes and all our years we know, is that when you see a police officer, you get a little nervous. Brees ain't never went out and felt like he saw a police officer and said, "Hey, buddy, hey, Drew, how you doing? What's going on?" Until you feel that kind of pressure when you walk out, or you tell your sons how to act when they see police, that's when it's a whole nother side. You know, it was an unbelievable ceremony they had the other day for George in Chicago and in Minneapolis, and I loved it because it was so much about the Black church. It was so much about the Black experience, and to hear Al Sharpton, it reminded me of me being in church back in the day when you get the reverend, he red hot, and people like just start fanning him off. He's like, take your knee off my neck, and I was like, damn, this brother, he had it down pat. That he understood the cadence and the people understood what he was saying. And when he said the thing about his mother, that's what really got me. He said, he said he was screaming, he was yelling for his mom, and I thought his mom was still alive. He said, no, she wasn't. He was talking to his mom as the life was going out his body. He was going up towards heaven to see her. And that was just shocking when he said that. And I was like, wow, unbelievable. So for me, I've always been a Brees fan, but your apology is hollow to me because all I can see is those sponsors that came at your ass. NBC, where you about to do Monday Night Football. They done called you up and said, yo, bro, you got to get on that phone right now. You got to apologize to everybody. So I understand what he's done in the community, and I love what he's done in the community. But your words sometimes, and your actions, you know, your words, when those words come out, like you and I know now, you can't take them back. Once they come out, that's done.
Very insensitive comment he said there. Again, not understanding the strife of Black people, and I'm like you, Max. He hasn't had to drive in his car, and you see some flashing lights, and you have to look in your rearview mirror. Because they on you. You know, he sees them in his car, he keeps driving, and they probably drive by him. But he doesn't know until they actually stop him. So that's the Black man's plight in America. But again, the movement that's going on with these young people and the protesting that they're doing, and it's real nice protesting. And you got a couple of them crazy guys out there running, and last couple of nights has been very, very positive. It's a movement that's not going to stop, because I think, as Reverend Al said at that eulogy, during his eulogy, a change is coming, man, and you can feel it.
I think the thing you're saying is so true, and I think we've all been there before. When you see police lights come on and they're near you, your damn blood pressure go up. I don't care.
Oh man. Hey, Bread. But it's the way they come up. I don't know if y'all experienced this. They come up, your car is stopped, and you see them coming, their hand is on the holster, and you see them flip that thing. So it's like, if they got to pull that gun out right quick, you think it's like gun smoke. Marshall Dillon, it's like they gonna pull it out fast and pop you. But they always got their hand on their gun. It ain't like they coming up like Brad used to call me Mr. Friendly. They ain't coming up like Mr. Friendly on you. No sir, buddy.
Yeah, I agree totally when that comes, because, and that's why I've done this one thing whenever I've been stopped. I always yell out the window and put both my hands. I said, I am putting my hands outside the window. Unless I'm a damn octopus, there is no way I can get over to you. But here, both my hands. So now, and a police officer asked me that. He said, why are you yelling like that? And why you have your hands up? I said, because I don't want there to be no damn accidents.
And Brad, you gotta remember, for Black people, it's just not the driver, it's the passenger too. You got to have your hands up there as a passenger. And I have never seen white people get questioned when you're on the passenger side. They asking you for your driver's license. Why? I'm not driving. But that's what happens in the Black experience when we deal with law enforcement. And like I said, the movement that's going on now, hopefully some things can change.
Brad, I don't know if I told you this story. Sam reminded me of it. You know, Brad knows Sam. This is a friend of mine.
Yeah.
We were going out to Guilford to see ML Carr, his teammate, you know, because, you know, we were friends back in the day. And we were stopped going out to Weston Guilford, right outside of Greensboro. And the policeman, you know, I was a star in Buffalo at the time. The policeman came up to my car. He got my license. He says, "Are you that boy from Carolina?" I said, "Yes, sir." And you know, I was a star in Buffalo, but he didn't know about Buffalo. He said, "You that boy from North Carolina?" I said, "Yes, sir." Then he grabbed Sam, who was beside me, got his license, saw him. He said, "Sam Rhodes, wasn't your father a sergeant here in the Greensboro Police Department?" He said, "Yes, sir." Sam's father was the first black sergeant in the Greensboro Police Department. He said, "Yes, sir." So where y'all going? We're going to see ML Carr. He said, "Come on with us. I'll take you there." He gave us an escort. We got to ML's house. ML was out in the yard. He had to holler at ML and say, "ML, you know these boys here? Bob McAdoo and Sam Rhodes." ML said, "Yeah, they okay, officer, they okay." Even after we gave him our identification, he still, it's like white people don't realize what they're doing. It's like, come on, man. We done gave you our license. You know who we are. If I had been the star of North Carolina and his father's the ex-sergeant's son, what kind of shit you think we've been in? What do you think we're gonna do? We ain't that crazy. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that we have to deal with. That when you tell people this, they scratch their heads. Like I told you all the other day about my uncle saying when we were going to Myrtle Beach, you know, he gave him $20 bill. He got $5 for gas, and the man said, "Man, get your ass out of here." Didn't give him his change. When I tell people that, they look at me like I got two heads. And I ain't number 68 years old. This wasn't 1920. This wasn't 1820. You know, like I say, what Drew Brees got to realize is all the black soldiers through the history and all of our wars, man, they have come back here, got no respect at all. And we just asking for little, you know, respect from police brutality. And it's like they got amnesia. They don't know their history. They, you know, when me and Brad and you gone, Cooper, we can't even tell our kids or kids that we trying to mentor. We can't even tell them. They don't even know nothing about this.
But you know, I think Bob is commonplace sometimes, and this is what people don't understand. It's happened to everybody. Every black person will give you that experience. I can give you experience when I was at UNCC, and then I played with the Celtics. I just bought a brand new BMW, red BMW. We had a party the day before. We got a keg of beer. The dudes finished the beer. I'm taking it back to the liquor store, and I walk in. My boy walks in, and then I walk in. These two white guys are coming out. Now my car's right there in the front. So my boy walks in. I'm coming. The two white guys go, I forget I got something in my car, left some in my car. So I walk back out the door, and these white boys are looking at my car, and they're like, "Hey, this boy, they ain't seen me yet." And the white boy's looking at my car. He said, "Can you believe this shit? Can you believe this? A nigga got a car like this." and this boy turned around and looked at me and went, "Oh shit!" It's like, I said, "Excuse me, what'd you say?" Oh, nothing, nothing. Because these things happen. It happened to me in Boston. I want to say about 10 years ago. I'm walking down the street, and these two white guys are listening to, and this kills me with the whole thing with radio. They're listening to a rap song, and they're coming down. They got like a halfway boombox. So they're on the other side of the street, and I can hear them. And you can hear these two white guys going and talking about the rappers. He said, "These niggas is bad. These niggas is bad." And there's a black guy on the other side. He's walking towards them. He said, "Watch your damn mouth." And then they turn around and get all frisky. I ran across the damn street. I said, "Yeah, watch your goddamn mouth." And the dude like, I've been to prison. I said, well, you wouldn't say that shit in prison. You wouldn't say that. So, I mean, sometimes people get emboldened in a way that you're going, I can't believe how bold you are in that to make that kind of statement. And I'm not talking like in the 60s. I'm talking about this thing happened 10 years ago to me in Boston.
You know what? The thing I love with this conversation between us right here is that the most drastic thing that ever happened to me was in 1975, and I just finished out a high school senior, is I got pulled over by the police. And being in Pasadena, I think was one of the most, probably more liberal, and they didn't manhandle me, but what they did that I did not like, and again, because I've seen other people get pulled over, is that was me and my friend were in the car just driving. It's probably about 10:30 at night. They pulled us out of the car and they made us walk up. And the most degrading thing to me is what you see that they do with these young kids. They put you on the ground, hands behind your back, make you kiss the ground and stuff like that. And that to me has nothing compared to what you guys have gone through. That's why it's important for our young people and our kids that we pass on these history lessons so that they understand what we had to go through to get to where we are today. And it's still a long road for us to go, because again, no, they're not killing, they're killing blacks every day, but when they make the mistake of killing a black man the way they did, and Mac, you said it the other day, a public lynching is what that was with George Floyd. You know, this guy just with his knee on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. That makes the incidents that we were able to live through, that makes it more important for us to pass that on to our kids, so that some kind of way, like I said, a change is coming, that we can do something so this doesn't happen 15, 20 years down the road.
Now, I want to say this the right way so everybody can understand it. There's always something positive that comes out of almost every situation. It's hard for people to see right now what happened to Mr. Floyd. But what it did to me, it opened the eyes up of some of our young people now who think that they're immune to this whole thing. They think that, they think their shit don't stink when it comes to this. And that to me is a wake-up call that I think that they've gotten, that they were able to see. And it wasn't like one of these things again. We literally saw this man go from breathing and yelling to all of a sudden he was dead in front of us. It wasn't like, you're like, okay, they put him in the car and then, no, we saw him living, screaming, begging, and then he died right in front of us. So I think our younger community got a chance to get that real alarm clock that went off for them, because I think that they get so familiar with, I think it's just like going to one of these rap shows sometimes, and you hear all these rappers, and we would have never tolerated this at all. But you see all these rappers going in, and you see a crowd, and the crowd coming to the shows are mostly white kids. And the N-word don't mean a damn thing. It's like, it go along with the song. They like, you be like, damn, seriously? You didn't think a second about, what you were saying? It's like, no, just did.
Well, another issue that I think goes along with this, with our youth today, is you see a lot of people of color out there. It's not necessarily just all blacks, they're out there, but you see Hispanics, you see whites, you see Asians, you see all people of color. And there was an incident, I don't know if you guys saw this the other day in Buffalo, New York. That guy that was 75 years old, they got pushed on his back, man. So people got to realize it ain't just happening to blacks anymore. It's happening to all ethnicities, and we got to stop this. It's happening more to blacks. And again, that's the most important thing for me right now, but it's happening all over. Law enforcement got to get themselves in check. We have to check them and stop all this so that we as a nation can move forward.
It's the culture, man, that they got to change. That's what they can legislate all they want to. It's the culture that's got to change. Like I saw, what's so sad is I saw a little piece in the New York Times this morning. They were saying the best filmmaking in America right now is on the cell phone. If it wasn't for that cell phone, we would not have seen that brother with the life drained out of him with that policeman. How many times has that happened to us? How many times, going back to Drew Brees, has that happened to our military boys that, you know, they want us to stand up top? And I even did some more work. You know, they supposedly started the national anthem with these football players standing out there. They said in 2009. And the reason they did it, the government was trying to recruit for the armed services, and they had, because usually these guys were in the locker room. Now they got them coming out because they gave the NFL $12 to $15 million a year for them guys to come out and stand. If you look, like I played in Italy for 6 years and watched soccer matches, they don't play the Italian, you know, national anthem before these soccer games and all this. They don't get into the politics like that. It's the U.S., you know, it ain't nothing but a flag, bro. It ain't nothing but some cloth. Come on, man. And you all going crazy over that. And you got the man up top talking about fire these son of a bitches. I mean, come on, man. What kind of
you know what? You're so right in that. And I think that's what everybody misses. And I think what's what Brees missed. It's not about the flag. It's not about the flag. It's about what the flag means. The meaning of the flag is that we are able to protest, that we can take a knee, that if anything in your life, and I remember this well, they were talking to this reporter, and this reporter was talking, he was talking to some people, and he said, and they was like, I really gave those players a rough time. I really got on their ass while they were kneeling down for the national anthem. I was yelling and screaming. And the reporter said, wait a minute, hold on. So you were yelling and screaming during the national anthem, and they were quietly taking a knee. And the guy, oh, well, no, I didn't mean, no, that's what you did. Essentially, this is what it is to be an American, that we're able to express ourselves if we're not stepping on somebody else's damn toe. And I love the flag. I love it, but we're forgetting the meaning. It's not the flag, it's what the flag means. It means that we have civil liberties, that we can go out and we can express ourselves the way we want to, as long as we ain't getting in somebody else's ass.
Well, you know what the problem with that? I got into a discussion with one of our coaches about that. We were talking about freedom of speech, Matt, and I said, we really don't have freedom of speech. That's propaganda there. He said, we got freedom of speech, but you may pay the consequences because of your freedom of the speech. This is where we disagreed, because I said, look, if you're paying consequences, what's the difference in that and being in communist Russia or communist China? If you say something, they're going to get a steamroller and smash you flat like they did in them Looney Tune cartoons.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
You can't even, and that's what I think, again, that's what's so great about America, is the fact that we're able to express ourselves. But when you step on somebody else's toes like that, or Breeze comes into somebody else's, this is what we always say: stay in your damn lane, man. Stay in your lane. Don't come out of your lane. That's not your lane right there, Drew Brees. That's not
Breeze came out of his lane. Big time.
Stay in your damn lane. You tell your kids down there, yo, stay in your damn lane. You can't come out of that lane. If you drive in this lane, you go straight. If you go in this lane, you in my lane. This lane over here happens to be something you really don't know much about. You don't know about that. Again, if you have not walked in somebody else's shoes, damn, you don't know nothing.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, man. This is Max. I saw the funeral yesterday, and the Reverend Al, man, stay off of my neck. That was the theme. Stay off of my neck. Drew Brees needed to have been there at that service, because I think if he'd have heard that service, he'd have changed his mind too. You've seen it all during your life. You've seen how these guys just must brush stuff to the side, man. Blind. They must have blinders on. You can't.
No, you don't have to live that way, Max. So you don't know. That's it. When you don't have to deal with those circumstances, what do you know? You don't have to do it. If we just said it a minute ago, if we see a police officer, most black people and the lights go on, your damn pressure goes up. It's like,
Oh,
damn,
yeah.
what did I do? If he's walking down the street, the lights go on. Hey, officer, how you doing?
Mr. Friendly.
Mr. Friendly.
Mr.
It
Friendly.
don't happen to him like that. So,
Yeah.
you know, and I'll say this, as much good as he's done for New Orleans, that set him back a long ways, buddy. A long ways in the eyes of what, because he's done some great work for people of color. But that statement alone at this time, you know, something about timing though is you and I talked about this before. You be the best basketball player ever. You and I, for me, timing was great for me when I grew 4 inches when I got cut from a team in high school. It was about timing. If I grew 4 inches 3 years from now, there's just been another tall black guy walking around. Timing is everything in this world. And his timing was bad and it was off. He knows that as a quarterback. It's about timing. When you throw a pass, your pass route has to be precise. And timing is everything. His timing was completely off.
Well, I would like to think that Drew Brees would, if he hasn't listened to Reverend Al and during that eulogy, he should listen to that, because again, the apology was made, and I'm kind of with you, Mac, a little bit, and Max, is that it's a sponsorship apology. It's not an apology from the heart. So if you listen to Reverend Al and him talking about it's time, then that apology comes from your heart and you really understand what the whole situation was about. And, you know, yes, he made the apology, but I really, really, really wonder in my heart if it was for, because he understands what is really going on, the plight of the African American, or was it about his pocketbook?
It was about the pocketbook too. It was about yeah.
Max, you need a whole lot of them, baby.
Money.
There you go.
Money. So I'm just saying, you talking about them dollars talk, man. I don't care what we can do all this stuff we want to. When you talk about them damn presidents, man, they come back, they just start talking. And when you say he had an opportunity to go to ESPN or whoever it was and do Monday Night Football, one of those big gigs, and he was supposed to be, you know, making more money than Tony Romo, you know, with this huge contract that was coming up for him. Dude, you looked at that and you're going, damn, I think I just blew whatever. And now he probably got a lot of money. More money than all of us put together. But when you see them dollars go out the window like that, you don't think his wife was like, what the hell?
Get on TV. Get on your phone and make that apology. Backyard.
Quick, make that apology quick. It was definitely about the dollars.
Seriously, guys, I like to believe, and you know, that he loose lips sink ships. I think that was a situation here. I really hope, I really do. I hope that he really understands what.
Coop, if he hadn't said it, if he had not said it 4 years ago or 3 years ago, whenever this happened, that's the difference. Yeah. He's come back to saying this is Trump's line when Trump was said. You hear people always say Trump just doubled down. That's what he did. He had made these comments before and then comes back and makes them now for no damn reason. So I can't say that, you know what, okay, he didn't mean to say it. If you say it one time, okay, you might make a mistake. Mm-hmm. Like if a guy elbows you one time when you're out there playing, you're going, oh, that might have been a mistake.
That's you, Max. I don't know. If out on the course somebody elbow you, they meant to do it.
You're going, okay. Don't worry about it. As we used to say back in the 80s, dude, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. He got to come around this pick in a minute. He coming around this corner. I remember distinctly when I first got in the NBA, they told me something happened and some dude was going towards the hoop. He made a nice play. And my big fella said, dude, don't do that again. Don't do it again. Dude comes flying back in there again. They threw him down. They said, didn't I tell you not to do that again? They meant it. And that's what that is. You can do it once, but you do it twice. That's no mistake.
Yeah.
That's in your heart. That's in your heart.
Yeah.
You know, and he got so much blowback from his teammates. His teammates went at him. Not only his teammates, like I said, first thing I said is, oh my God, his offensive line, are they gonna block for him? His receivers, are they gonna catch his passes? And Lord knows the the opposing team defenders, they are animals, man. They coming to get you. That's what they want to do anyway. They want to put the quarterback out of the game. How much incentive is going to be on their hearts now to go after him, even though he's put this apology down?
Yeah.
You know?
But you know, it depends on a lot of different things. Because I want to, and I could be wrong. Let me check. I think I got this right, but there's a guy who plays for San Francisco 49ers. Bosa, I think is his name. Came from Ohio State. Made some comments about Donald Trump and what he liked about him and da-da-da. And guys sat in that league and said they were going to get him. He turned out to be one of the better players for San Francisco. Now, I think there's political things almost in every circle that you go in. But some things are better left unsaid. And when you're saying, now you got that whole other element. When you're looking over your back, you're thinking about what might have been said.
You definitely gotta watch. I remember this doesn't have anything to do with it, but Coop, you wasn't in Italy when I first got there. Me and Kenny Barlow, we were on the Milan team, and we was playing not Scavallini, Snyderro from Caserta. And the Italians, what the hell they know? We went out there warming up, and all of a sudden, we saw this big Confederate flag on the whole side. Me and Barlow looked at each other like, what the hell is that? This team hadn't lost at home all year. They had the home court advantage. The hair, I'm making this point because our hair stood up, eyes red, veins popping out of your neck. Man, we kicked their ass at home, their first loss at home. You just don't know the rise you get out of people when the wrong thing. And the Italians, you can't blame them. They didn't know. They were trying to be American, with a big old Confederate flag floating down, and the fans was
Bob, and that is your point you're making.
Yeah,
is that they did not know. Drew Brees knew what he was saying, and that's why I find it hard for me to accept the apology, because he did not say it one time. He said it twice. Yeah, exactly. He said it when Kaepernick first knelt down, and then comes back years later. There's no need now of doing this when all this racial tension is out there. You're asking for trouble, dude. You're asking for trouble. That you're going to make a political statement like that about a person of color during this time, during the pandemic, during the riots, during people getting kicked. That's just not smart. That's stupid.
Let me ask you guys something. With the upcoming NFL season, and with the fans, they're going to come back eventually. You think these guys as a whole going to take a knee? Do you think these guys in the NBA are going to take a knee, a stand, what Kaepernick do? Or you think they're going to,
You know what? Bob, this is
financial thing.
Coop, I'll go first.
Okay.
This is what I believe. A knee now has a whole new concept. This is the knee now that Kaepernick took, and then the knee that was on George's neck. And this guy takes a whole nother thing now. So if players go out and they do take a knee, I can imagine that there are going to be fans who are going to go out of their way now and start booing them. I can't imagine that you're going to have anybody who is political, who's a owner of a team, that is going to go out and make a racial statement right now about anything. That's like your guy right now, Bob McAdoo, Dolan in New York. Mr. Dolan is the last person to make any kind of reaction towards what happened in a town that is full of people of color, and he has a team that's full of color, and he has people on staff that are full of color. You have to make a statement immediately if you're the New York Knicks.
Well, I think I agree with you, Max. I think all players, NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, are going to take a knee. I think this is it's like you said, Max. It's up to another level, and I don't think anybody's going to boo them. I think the audience and people watching the game are not going to turn the game off or anything like that. But I think it's a whole new meaning, and it's a meaning of unity. And I think everybody will come together and they'll understand truly, truly, truly what these athletes are kneeling for. And it's not against our country or our flag. It's against bringing this together.
One thing you've seen that police officers have done that has really quelled the tension in some of these crowds has been the fact that they have gone out and they've taken a knee. Yeah. Everybody sat down and they said, and that's what the crowd sometimes was chanting in Boston, take a knee. There was a young woman in Boston, police officer. She goes out, meets the crowd with no helmet on, and she takes a knee. And then the rest of the police officers take knees. And then the crowd, it just takes all the angst away from them because they feel like you're trying to understand their plight. You might not be able to you can't walk in another man's shoes, but you can try to understand his plight. And when you take a knee, or you sympathize in that way, then I think that in itself is an admission of like, look, I'm gonna try to understand and put myself in another position, mindset.
I wanted to see what y'all thought about that, but I think we're headed for another explosive situation because that guy in the White House, he's going to have something to say about all these brothers taking a knee. And like you said, I think, like you said, Matt, this is the right time for them to do it. Jerry Jones from the Dallas Cowboys, who was really opposed to it, he's going to have to change his stance. All these NFL owners going to have to change their stance. And I'm just waiting to see now if Kaepernick's going to get a shot. Because what he started is here now. Nobody can argue against, they can't worry about the press. Supposedly they were saying, they didn't want all this excess stuff going on with him being on the team and all this stuff. What can you say now? They have seriously whiteballed this guy. This guy got to the Super Bowl his first year. And all these sorry quarterbacks out here getting shots. And he has, I'm really disappointed in a lot of the NFL players because they dropped the ball. They let him do this by himself. If they don't go out there now, I'm watching, and I'm sure you guys are too. If they don't come out there in full mass for this guy, Floyd, something is wrong.
Well, let me here's a question I'll ask both of you. And we say this about taking a knee. Why hasn't the NBA taken a knee? Hello,
no, Max, I think you're going to see that now. Yeah. Because I think it's a unity thing. I think, and I think if anybody stands up against it, I can see all Black athletes in all major sports, especially the major three, just walking out. Hey, okay, we can't do it. We can't take a knee for what we feel and believe in. Then we'll shut it down.
Well, if the NBA went further than anybody in trying to quell this by saying, no, we're not going to take a knee. What we're going to do, we're going to hold hands. We're going to branch together. This is our way of publicly doing it. So I don't know if the NBA is ever going to be in that position because NBA has always been in the forefront. We know that.
A player is going to try that. A player is going to test that theory. I guarantee a player.
It. Well, we haven't seen it. It's been how many years now?
Well,
Kaepernick did it. Kaepernick did it. What, 3 years ago?
But
we have not seen. we have not seen one NBA player in every game I've been to. I've not seen a player take a knee yet. And you
but
did,
Max, like you said, that knee has gone to a whole nother level. And like we've been talking about the movement going, I would be surprised if they didn't. I would really be surprised if they didn't.
You know what the difference is too in the NBA and the NFL? These brothers in the NBA, their endorsements deals are a lot better than those NFL players. And I'm sure they looking at the financial, going on. Fans are right there on you versus the fans in a stadium. I mean, look at the people that's out there talking about it. Max Kellerman, Stephen A. Smith, they are basketball fanatics. If they, man, I can see this whole thing going crazy if an NBA player takes a knee and they don't do it wholeheartedly. I don't know what the percentage of is. 80% brothers in the league now. They've got to do it. You can't leave a brother out there by himself like the NFL left Kaepernick.
Yeah, well, you know what? You guys say that, but again, it's been over 3 years since Kaepernick did this. I have not seen one NBA player take a knee, and I love my league, but that has not happened. And
if I was playing today, Max, I'd be on my knee. When that game started, and they came out, started playing, I'd be on my knee, and I would expect you and McAdoo to drop to your knee too. I'm serious, man. I would be, because you know what? You have to stand up. That's to me, that's the thing to do now. You can't be afraid, and Cap wasn't afraid. Look what happened to him, but look where we are today. Everything that he did 3 years ago is prevalent and more immense and greater and more significant today than it was 3 years ago.
Let me tell you why me and Bob McAdoo wouldn't take a knee right now. Because we couldn't get up.
That's right. Drew had 2 bad knees.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
We couldn't get up.
No, I didn't.
Bob, you can get up? You take a knee right now?
Absolutely, I take it. What the situation
you
right there?
You got your kids inside you picking you up, okay?
I better have a stool right behind me so I can so I'd only have about 5 inches to get up after I hold my knee. Yeah. Oh,
and we say this only in jest, but man, it is really true about the whole thing. As bad as our knees are for us older players, and I happen to be at Kobe's event when Kobe's homegoing, and Bill Russell was in front of me, and the family came in, and boy, I'm gonna tell you, it took everything in the world for Bill Russell to stand up because of them bad knees. Literally, I was behind him as he was trying to get up, like most of us do now. We use our hands. Bill Russell had his hands, his arms were shaking. I pushed him from behind so he could get up.
Yeah.
So he could stand up.
Yeah.
It's like, but that to me is like, I mean, what a year this been and it has been. And, you guys, for me, just the fact that I met Kobe just a little bit and who he was as a person, the former commissioner passing away, this year will go down to me as the most dramatic year that the NBA has ever had. And I just can't see any other year that something like that could happen unless, there's a death on the floor with a player. That's the only thing I can see that would be completely different now, because this has been this year has been surreal.
Yeah.
But it's like, have you guys been watching the crowds out there with these protesters and watching the networks? Nobody's even talking about COVID-19 anymore. That's what's getting me. These people are packed in, jammed tight, and the people from the CDC and Dr. Fauci and Birch, whatever name is, they have been telling us constantly 6 feet apart. It just shows you how much the anger is. These people ain't caring nothing about. I see
Don Lemon said something the other day, and it was people who were at the funeral. He said, I must point this out. He said, because what I see right now is there are a lot of people out there that don't have masks on. They're socially not distanced. So they have kind of touched on it. Tell you who won't touch it in a minute. Fox Fox is in a whole. They're scrambling to get some other kind of news. They were talking about when Trump was getting impeached. I was like, what the hell has that got to do with what's going on right now? I mean, they're like, they're unbelievable.
Brad, it's unbelievable you said that. At dinner 2 nights ago with my family, I just happened to say, I'm usually going back and forth between CNN and MSNBC. I said, let me see what's happening on Fox just for the hell of it. And my family was like, hell no. I said, no, we turn into Fox. I want to see what's happening. Like you said, Brad, total opposite of what's happening on those other 2 stations. And I'm wondering now, I want to turn to Fox now and see if they're talking about the generals that's blasted Trump. Yeah. I'm wondering if they even saying that. These are respectable guys in the military. You know, you can't just throw this stuff off to the side, okay? They are saying, wait a minute here, this guy is a threat to the Constitution. I'm wondering if Fox News is saying that. And no. You know what hit me, Brad? I don't know if you noticed this. Every time I go to a doctor's office, and we go, because we some old fellas, we go to the doctor's office, dentist's office, whatever, all of them got on Fox News. All of them got on Fox News. I don't see none of them on CNN or MSNBC. All these doctors got on Fox News. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Am I missing something? Damn.
And listen, I'm gonna say something just about it real quick about the COVID thing, and there's still a pandemic going on, but I believe that being outside because of you have the air and granted people are packed tight to each other, I think that is going to help just a little bit. I think that I just watching the news, there have been spikes in some cities and certain places, but you know what? I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, and I think in George Floyd's funeral, God had his hand on that because you know what? That had to be done and people had to be there to hear it. Because Reverend Al spoke, he spoke the truth, and he's letting everybody know what's getting ready to come, man. November the 3rd, we got to get everybody out there and vote. Get out there and vote because the change is going to come and we can make that change happen.
Well, I believe I believe in the Lord. I believe that he protects us. But I also believe at the same time, and they've made scientifically, they've done this. They said when people are shouting and screaming, there are more of those fluids flying around. Yep. So you think about these police officers and some of these protesters are getting right in this guy's face and they're screaming and yelling. If there is COVID, it's gonna be flying around. That's why I think that this is why at this time, I don't think even Trump can trick us or trick anybody with what's going on in this world. And he cannot, and this is the thing that he can't do, which I know he has to hate this. He can't blame Obama right now.
No.
It's like everything Obama did.
But Brad, check this out, what I read. Now, this is going to really freak you out about the COVID-19 and what could possibly happen. They said with these policemen shooting this tear gas, it's making people tear up. It's making them cough. All of them, they coughing like crazy. They tearing in their eyes. Is that going to spread because of the tear gas being shot to crowds of people? Yeah. That's what could happen to these people too.
That's scientifically possible. I think that we look at it and they talk about how it's spread, and they had the perfect example when they had somebody talking in a normal tone, and then they had somebody talking louder, and they had somebody screaming, and literally you could see the fluids just flying all around every place when that person was screaming. So I think that it's going to be a spike. I think it's going to spike even more. I just didn't think this is, and I'll say this for all three of us. I don't think that we ever believed that we were going to be going back down this path, especially after we saw Obama get elected. Yep. I think we all thought that we had made a change and we were going in another direction.
Well, it just goes to show you all the people that were pissed off when Obama got to office. That's what it's really showing you. It was a lot of people in the cut, just pissed because a black man was at the helm. And when I look at a guy like Mitch McConnell, who made the statement, he worked 24/7 to try to make Obama a one-term president, and this guy continues to block progress. I haven't heard him say anything about this knee and this brother. This guy's got a heavy duty voice in Washington too. I haven't heard anything from him.
Well, he's being smart.
Lindsey Graham.
He's being smart. He's staying away from that. You can't win if you start talking about that now. You can't win.
Exactly.
So I don't care who you are. If you're a politician right now, if you're not on the side of it, and you should just shut up and don't say anything. Because if you're on the other side, the political points right now aren't in your favor. So just be quiet, man. Let it ride. I'm sure that's what they're doing. Like, I better not say nothing. I better just be quiet.
Yeah, it's a mess out here, man. Economics, 50% of blacks have lost their jobs. It's just mind blowing there. Just seeing some of these statistics that's out here, man. It's like I got a son that's he had a good job in New York and he was furloughed. He's getting unemployment now. My daughter, who's a pro tennis player, I got two in my family. She's got unemployment, because no tournaments are going on. Nothing is happening. Can't make any money.
Well, you know what?
I'm even worried about my job. I'm just a lowly scout now, but hell.
Dude, that money count, man. Good saying that.
Absolutely, it counts. Absolutely. Hey, I'm telling him, get your ass up there at Walt Disney World and get the plane, bro. Let's go.
Listen, we living in some troubled times now. But I promise you, man, and I just believe this in my heart, that some significant young African-American, our young kids are getting ready to stand up and be counted, man, because this is showing, my son goes, Dad, and because he doesn't hardly watch TV. Other than his phone, that's the only thing he's on, but he sat down, he watched the news with me, he goes, Dad, something special is getting ready to happen. And I said, wow. You know what it's going to be? It's going to be from you, man. And he's 15 years old. I said, it's going to be from your generation, man. That's why it's important that you people, young people, need to watch what's going on. Watch what Trump and them are doing. Watch the policies they're trying to cancel and add on. Watch these judges that they're putting on the Supreme Court, because these things are going to affect you. And that's why I love this movement we got, because you got to look out there. The age group of these kids are about 19 to 25. If you look out there and look and see, some of them are a little bit younger, but they're at 19 to 25 and they're eligible to vote. And with Trump trying to suppress the mail-in and everything, these kids, as well as us, need to get out there and stand in line. And I'm going to do it again this coming November. I'll be there at 4 o'clock in the morning at my polling site, stand in line, ready to cast my vote, man. You got to get out there and vote.
You know what I've loved about this, in which you and I and Mac, we will always say to our dying day, is they always find on the news, they always find the most indignant black, uneducated person to go grab. And we have not seen, what we've seen is black young kids being articulate, being able to get their point across. And that to me has been really good, because I don't know how many times we as black people have seen somebody come on TV and we going, oh, hell no, they didn't get him. No, they didn't get him. All the black people out here, they had to get him. What? So I think that to me has been something which has opened my eyes about this younger generation, is that they seem to get it. They seem to be able to, speak their words. They seem to be able to connect. They use the King's English. Now, some of them are just crazy, when they're talking. But I've seen a lot of them in a very intelligent environment make a great point. And that, to me, that's the brilliance of what's going on there.
I just hope this whole thing is, not going to be swept under the rug. I had a friend. I say this because
that's true.
What's disheartening is sometimes I like to go back in history, and a friend sent me something this morning, tape on Malcolm X talking about police brutality, 1965. I'm like, oh my God, 65? This is 2020 and we're still talking about this? Come on, man. It's when you guys have a chance, go on your phones and look up Malcolm X talks police brutality. I think it's 1965 or 64. And it's like mind-boggling. How can this be? How can we still be talking about this? You know, get your calculator out, Coop. How many years ago was that?
55 years ago, yeah. But you know what? And I'm Matt, dude, this is not gonna get swept under the rug, man, because they got Reverend Al is putting together that March on Washington, man, in August.
I heard.
I'm seriously considering going to that thing, man, because I think, you know, the one Martin Luther King did, 30, 35, 40 years ago, was so significant. And now Reverend Al is putting this one together, man. But so this movement that's moving on with these young people, this ain't about to die anytime soon. This thing is gonna go live all the way through November.
I am like Bob in the sense that Black people for 400 years have always been the most forgiving race out here.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that this time, and we've seen it over and over again, from Rodney King on down the line, every time we see it, we think we've turned that page and we haven't. What I think about this particular era to me is there is a connection not only with young Black people, but you see young white people.
Yeah.
And you see people in Europe, and you see people in London. You see all these different factions have come together for one. And that's the only reason I believe that maybe we have made that statement, and we won't forget about this particular incident. But I wouldn't be surprised again if it just did not, if we didn't just somehow forget, because I just think, again, we're the most forgiving people out here.
Well, let me tell you what I think about this whole thing. I'm appreciative of all the allies we have, our white brothers and sisters. But I gotta believe this. I believe this to my heart. If we didn't have them out there as allies, we'd be getting cut up and shot down right now if all these protesters was brothers. I believed in my heart that we would be getting shot down, tear gas to the max if it was only brothers. We're getting, they soft now because you see little 11, 12-year-old white girls out there. Are they gonna gas them? Are they gonna rubber bullet them? They don't care. I'm telling you, they don't care about the brothers. If it was all brothers, I am happy that we got them as allies, because I know for a fact we'd be getting shot down right now.
Wasn't Al's statement so good the other day when he said how he had came someplace before and a white woman came up to him and said, "Get out of here, nigga."
Yeah.
And then the other day he said he was in Minnesota and he said there was a little girl who tugged on him and pulled on his head, and he yelled out, she said, "No justice, no peace." I was like, wow. I was like, dude, that was just like, it blew my mind the way he said it, and he connected that together, because I think that's what we have to have. We have to have not only people of color, but we have to have people who are white. Here's the thing that was shocked me and would shock both of y'all. What the hell are they doing protesting in Salt Lake City? Salt Lake City. Salt Lake City.
People of all colors are tired of this, man.
Only Black person I saw there was Karl Malone. That was
right. It. Right.
I mean, how many times
Earl Bailey too now.
Earl Bailey, yeah.
City, we going. Yeah. You go. I mean, as long as you and I played there, you go out and you going, damn, I must be in like another country.
Right.
Only Black people I see are the people who are playing.
Right. It's touched the nerve. You're right. And London, Paris, and Germany of all places.
Yeah.
Protesting in Germany? Are you kidding me? Man.
You know what? I'll take Germany, but Salt Lake City? we talking about Salt Lake City.
You're right. You're right. There's more brothers in Germany than it is Salt Lake City.
Absolutely. They were. I was like, I saw these different places they were protesting, and I saw Atlanta, I saw Chicago, I saw Portland, and then they had the thing in Salt Lake City. I was like, that's Salt Lake City, Utah? Really?
I know.
So that's why maybe it's different than it was before.
Yes, it is, Max.
Yeah, because I've seen more brothers at the Lufthansa counter when I go to Europe than I do in the Utah arena.
You know what? It's time for us to go now. It's time for us to go. Gentlemen, it really was a pleasure, man. And like I said, I think, again, because we're talking about it, I think that there's an agenda. And because we're talking about it, and because of all the connections, I'm like Cooper. I hope it's a change, but I'm like Bob McAdoo too, in the fact that I hope that Black people or people of color don't forget this moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gentlemen,
right.
a pleasure.
All right, we'll holler at you guys.
Okay, see y'all.
All right, take care. All right.